Hos Djus får du massevis av data. Vi har alltid lav pris på de mest populære mobilene. Og selvfølgelig superrask 4G-dekning levert av Telenor. Så hos Djus er det ingen grunn til å spare på moroa. Djus, billig moro. Hos Djus får du massevis av data. Vi har alltid lav pris på de mest populære mobilene. Og selvfølgelig superrask 4G-dekning levert av Telenor. Så hos Djus er det ingen grunn til å spare på moroa. Djus, billig moro.
We'll start as soon as the players have picked their builds and their factions. It looks like they will be done with that pretty soon. And Heir of Carthage was supposed to cast this, but he isn't online, so the Prussian prince asked me to cast instead. So sure, I was looking forward to watching Heir cast and troll in the comments, but it looks like I'm going to have to be the one that gets trolled in this case. Panda Warrior is banning Bui, or Bui. He tried to ban the Prussian prince at the beginning of the game, but unfortunately you can't ban players. Prussian prince bans Rome. Panda has left the lobby, and the Prussian Prince is the winner of the tournament because Panda Warrior rage dropped from the lobby. Congratulations, Prussian Prince. Well played, sir. Well played. The true art of war is winning without even fighting, so the Prussian Prince has mastered the art of war. Oh, he's rehosting. Okay, so I'm going to join that one. And we are back in. The Boyai and Rome is banned. So, sword spammers are banned. Still have some nice sword spam factions left though. So just some rules discussions going on in the beginning. In some tournaments you ban for both you and your opponent. In some tournaments you ban for your opponent, but you can still pick the faction that is banned. So we're just going to check that before we get started, because that is potentially very important. If you, for example, ban Rome for your opponent, but you're able to pick Rome yourself, that can be a pretty nice advantage. But if you ban Rome and you're not able to use Rome, but your opponent is able, and none of you are able to use Rome, then that could be quite different. Then Panda Warrior says, well, if the rules are that way, he's not banning the boy. Looks like they are in agreement, which is always nice. It looks like we'll get the map Ariminum if they don't change it. So some nice forests and uneven terrain. Always nice when Nematosana isn't used in tournament battles, because I think we can all agree we've seen enough of Nematosana. So I'm asking Zaript to co-comment this with me, since it's always nice to have two commentators. But he hasn't replied yet, so hopefully he does, so we can have two commentators on this. Might be a bit easier to get everything that's going on if there are two people casting instead of one. And it's also more fun to listen to, I think, and more fun to cast when there's a co-commentator. I've been looking forward to this matchup so much, because these two players, they are both great. They have beaten all of their opponents in quite convincing fashion, but it's a hard matchup for both players. They are both extremely skilled. Now Zaript is answering, so Panda Warrior is picking Tireless on Ariminum. So let's see if we can get him in as well.
Connected.
User entered your channel.
Hello, hello.
Hello, there you are. So
Yeah, I guess you're streaming, right?
I'm streaming. I only have the picture up now, so people don't see the builds and such. But we are live.
Okay. Very nice. I guess we should switch the room.
Yep. Let's see here.
User left your channel. Channel switched.
There we
Yeah,
go.
it should work.
Team Kaisar.
Caesar. And in Russian it will be Cesar.
So very close to Tsar.
Yeah, it's actually, I think, etymology of what Tsar is. Literally, it's
Yep.
Caesar.
Same with, we have the same in Norwegian. We have Kaiser. So it's basically the same as the Roman Kaiser. And the German one as well. It's basically from Caesar, like you would say in English. So very, very
Yep.
influential.
Well, obviously, after getting that much, but I wonder if Caesar, like I'm trying to figure out when Slavic tribes actually got in touch with Roman Empire, and it was much later. It was Byzantium
Yeah.
era, so they probably didn't really have to deal with Caesar himself, but just heard about
Yeah.
some sort of a great
The myth of the man instead of the man himself.
likely.
Have you read his works on the wars in Gaul?
Yes, well,
Like
only
his
translation,
war
obviously.
diary, the Bello Gallica or something like that.
Well, I did read the part before, I think there is two parts. One,
Yeah.
the Gallic War, and second part is his, how it's called, Civil War.
Yep.
I didn't read the civil ones, but I don't know how much was lost in translation, because Russian is a bit more. I don't know. It uses more words than Latin, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't sound as precise as it was.
It's probably the same in English, because I obviously haven't read it in Latin. But English as well, a lot more wordy than Latin. You have sentences that are 3 words in the original text, and then there's 12 words in the English translation. So I'm sure there's quite a lot of differences.
But it still was interesting view to how he looked at, I don't know, at space he was conquering.
Yeah.
The way he thought about tribes, about power balance.
That was some pretty MLG stuff by Caesar in that time. Very aware of those
Yeah.
things.
But you always ask yourself, how much did he left out of
Yeah.
his notes?
Did anything of it really happen? Like the
Well,
Gallic armies of 300,000 men, was it really like 10,000 peasants, or were there those amounts of troops on the field? Probably not. Probably a bit of propaganda from Caesar's side to have some nice things to talk about in Rome.
Could be.
They found that, at least in Norway, when they have the battles from the Viking Age and beyond, there have been battles that just can't have taken place with the population of Norway at that time. So there were like 10,000 people, 100,000 people in total, spread over the entirety of Norway. And then you have battles with 20,000 men on each side, and there's just no way that is even possible. So they like to brag about a lot bigger numbers than what could have been supported by the populations of the time.
Well, that's always the thing with the history.
Yep.
And in fact, a lot of just when Rome was coming out, the game, I mean, I was reading a lot about Roman army and like the way historians try to figure out how it actually was.
Yeah.
And obviously, like a lot of evidence shows, for example, that what was considered to be a numbers of legions was never constant.
Yeah.
Like some legions could be like 5,000 men as it should, or some could be 3,000 or even less,
Yeah.
depending on time period and the land it was feeding from.
Yep.
So it's difficult. That's why it usually is so funny to read on a forums, like in the internet. Like people, no, we know how it was. It was like this. You're doing it wrong. Like, yeah, sure.
Well, it looks like the Prussian prince is ready. The Prussian prince picked Galatia against Tylus, so that's a pretty interesting matchup, I would say.
What is Tylus? I actually missed the time of this DLC, so I have
Okay.
no idea how it plays out.
Well, Tylus has no elite swords. They only have elite spears, and they have the noble horse. They had no mid-tier cavalry, but in patch 16 they got mercenary Cappadocian cavalry. They also got mercenary Syrian archers. And they basically have a good, cost-effective mid-tier swords in the form of Galatian legionaries. And that's it, basically. No really special good units. They have I believe they're called the raiding horse, so javelin cavalry that also can fight in melee with 40 weapon damage, 32 missile damage, so they are pretty good. But Tylus have a lot better swords than Galatia. They have the elite oath sword, of course, and then they have the tribal warriors, barbarian swords with 95 armor and 60 health for 740. So this is going to be hard for Galatia, I think.
But it was Prussian Prince who was speaking second, right?
Yep, it was. So he countered with... well, you can't really say he countered, because Galatia is in no way a counter to Tylus. It's hardly even a match for Tylus, so maybe he has a nice build that he has experimented with.
Yeah, I didn't play in a long time. So what is the meta right now? Because from a couple of games I played today, I got a feeling that it's more about just getting heavy infantry core and
Yes.
just
Very much so.
overgrinding,
It's
see.
about having a lot more infantry than what you would see in previous patches, because infantry got their armor buffed and their morale buffed, and combats take a lot longer. So it's about bringing a lot of men on the field, having a few key cavalry and skirmishing units, but then it's just about having a really strong infantry component. Like you will see some guys bringing 2 cavalry, no skirmishers, and all the rest infantry. And it can work, but in the shock cavalry has also found a new role in that, because they are very good against swords now. So
okay.
yep. But it's still in the experimental stage, because patch 16 just came out, and that changed a lot of the factions around as well. So I don't think people have figured out the game completely after a year. But now we are in the game, the Battle of Ariminum. Panda Warrior picked Tylus, the Prussian Prince picked Galatia.
And the map is interesting to say the least.
Yep, very interesting.
Nowhere near Nemetasena, which we usually saw before.
I think it's a
Reminds me of Aki, actually.
nice choice of them not to go on Nemetasena. And I think both factions are kind of equally matched on this map. Might give a slight edge to Tylus, because they have the very tanky tribal warriors. The thing about the tribal warriors is that they have a good charge, but they only have 30 melee attack, which is pretty bad for a sword unit. So they are going to benefit a lot from having terrain advantages and such.
But I wonder who have the better starting position.
Yeah,
It seems like a hill line is closer to Prussian Prince,
yep.
but I wonder if he plans to rush it.
I think he has to, to be honest. But it looks like both players are going to rush. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
closer for Prussian Prince here. But the problem is that this might actually be intentional by Panda in picking this map, because if Prussian rushes with his Galatian legionaries, he's going to get wrecked by Oathsword and tribal warriors. So Panda might choose this map so that the Prussian rushes, and so that he doesn't skirmish, because Galatia has Syrian archers now, so they can potentially skirmish quite well.
Well, today Prussian Prince told me that his matchups are, quite weak. I mean, in terms of playtime of faction against faction.
Yeah.
So he could have made a mistake here.
Yeah, I think he mostly plays and Panda Warrior says, I think I fucked the attacker direction, so maybe they were supposed to play in another direction, I don't know. But I talked to Prussian Prince, and I think he mainly plays tournament battles now, some practice games, but I don't think he prioritizes Rome 2 as much as he did. But that's the thing about this about the current meta is that if you bring a strong infantry build, you don't really need to play very well in order to win. You can just
that was always the case.
yeah, you can just kind of grind it out, regardless.
Yeah, but then the question is, what actually beats the heavy infantry build?
Well, on this
I
map,
wonder.
not shock cavalry and not skirmishers because of the forests and the hills. But on flat maps, shock cavalry can be pretty damn devastating against sword factions now.
What about elephants?
Well, elephants, they got an increase to their hit points, so they are still quite easy to make run amok, but they are much harder to kill. So elephants are in some ways a bit stronger than chariots now, because chariots got their armor decreased and their mass decreased. So you can stop chariots for some time with any unit that has a defensive ability, like a shield wall or something like that. But they're
And
going
we
to
got-
rehost!
Yeah, well, obviously for Panda Warrior, he wants more advantageous position.
So now we can see the build, so I'm not going to put up the image here. But they're going to change the attacker position, so presumably so Prussian Prince isn't as close to the first hill.
But Panda is attacker, right?
I think both players are attackers in this tournament. Both players have to attack, and both players have to try to do damage at all times. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I think that's the way it works.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest grips with Rome 2. It's the game itself doesn't allow for clear rules.
Yep.
Just no way to put it up nicely.
Yeah. And you see a lot of different rules in the tournaments now. Like some tournaments allow 8 pikes, but they always limit horse archers, and some even limit foot skirmishers, so maximum of 10 foot skirmishers.
Well, that part, I'm like, for me, it always was whatever. If tournaments want to enforce some sort of build rule, whatever they see fit. But the problem with Rome 2, in my eyes, is the fact that the game itself doesn't naturally create engagement.
Yep.
In Shogun 2, it was absolutely obvious that some sort of a fight for dojo will happen.
Yeah.
You had to do it. In Rome 2, we got to that ridiculous attacker-defender crap again.
And if the defender just chooses to stay on the far side of his deployment, the attacker can either spend a shitload of time walking up to him, or run and then tire out his men. So there's no advantage in being the aggressor if the defender has a strong position terrain-wise.
Exactly.
And it's kind of fucked, and I think that's why people say that now that both players have to be the attacker. You have to leave your deployment zone and you have to attack. But then again, if you have a skirmish build, you don't want to engage mainline infantry and have them slaughtered when you have a lot of skirmishers that need to do damage. So it's not optimal.
Well, in that regard, I guess skirmisher still attacks if he shoots. The thing with skirmish is that there is just no reason for your opponent not to just go and kill you. I think.
Because the maps are so small as well. Okay, so
Kind of,
they are ready.
and somehow they on the same positions. I'm not really getting it, but
Yeah.
they're playing like this.
Okay, so I'll go over Panda Warrior's build and you'll go over Prussians afterwards.
Okay.
So Panda Warrior has 3 Levy Freemen and a strong line of 6 Tribal Warriors in the center, 2 Oathsworn, 2 Celtic Warriors, 2 Raiding Horse, 1 Noble, his general is an Oathsworn, and that's it.
So pretty much infantry spam.
Yep.
Well, let's take a look. Prussian Prince. He took much heavy infantry corps, so from what I can see, it's 6 Galatian legionnaires in the middle. His general is Noble Horse, and he is, let me check, warrior? No, it's not strategist, right?
Yep.
Yeah, strategist. No, commander.
He is commander, yep.
And on 2 flanks he have 2 Galatian swords supported by 2 Levy Freemen. So 2 light flanks, heavy middle, and noble horse, 2 noble horse and 2 mercenary Cappadocian cavalry.
Yep. And it looks like Panda
Oh.
Warrior's general is a strategist with battle rhythm and second wind. So he might want to spam. Headhunt, and then use the second wind to make his guys not tired.
Yeah, well, he already doing some decent damage with his riding horseman, but mostly on
Yeah.
these Galatian swords.
But that's going to be
Which I
pretty
guess-
important. If you can take down a lot of Galatian swords before the main engagement starts, his tribal warriors are going to absolutely destroy the infantry of Prussian Prince. If you look at their stats, the Galatian legionaries have better melee attack, but the tribal warriors have 15 more armor and only less, and they also have the same weapon damage. So 70 melee defense and 65 for the Galatian legionaries. So if the Galatian legionaries just take a little bit of damage, it's going to be really bad for the legionaries.
How do these tribal warriors stay against cavalry?
Pretty good, since they are only heavy, but in their shield wall they can hold very well. We'll see a charge now potentially with mercenary Cappadocians. No, they're going to withdraw. So swords don't hold up well to cavalry in any case, but in shield wall, and now the mercenary Cappadocians are going to get hammered by javelins. Not really taking a lot of damage because they have high health and armor, and even more. So I don't know what Prussian Prince is doing here with his mercenary Cappadocians, because he basically lost that unit. And here you can see them charging into the tribal warriors, and they're going to get completely wrecked now. So don't know if that was worth it really.
I think he simply have no plan for this.
It looks like it.
scenario.
But to be
can't
fair, with his
reorganize.
build, he can't win if Panda Warrior plays even remotely well. He can't win with this build. No way.
Well, one thing Prussian Prince did is, well, potentially did. I guess he is doing this mercenary Cappadocian sacrifice to just force an engagement at
Yeah.
all.
But he doesn't want the engagement, that's the problem. Panda wants the engagement because he has the better infantry. But he did manage to catch both of Panda
Yeah,
Warriors
riding horse.
riding horse. So that was pretty... Now it's more even. That was pretty important.
So micro mistake from Panda here,
Yep.
and not necessarily bad for Prussian Prince because he doesn't have skirmishing. So
Yep.
whatever happens, early engagement is better for him.
Panda Warriors General just got charged by Prussian Prince General. And he got knocked down, and now the Prussian Prince can follow up with his Galatian legionaries against the Oathsworn, robbing them of the charge bonus. So very nice by the Prussian Prince.
And actually, look, if we look at it, Prussian Prince have much more forces in fights than
Yep, he does.
Panda Warrior.
Because
so
Panda Warrior pulled
Panda
back, and now he needs to bring his guys back in. So some nice moves by the Prussian Prince to begin with here.
But it was too late.
I think so. Here, Panda has Celtic warriors and Levy Freemen holding up a lot of expensive troops on the right flank. Levy Freemen are going to get hammered, and in the center, Celtic warriors routed. Let's have a look at the general fight, because that is going to be very important. The general is going to take down the Galatian legionaries very effectively. And here we have one unit of tribal warriors holding off 2 legionaries and 1 Galatian sword unit. So they are very, very tanky. They won't be able to kill much, but kind of a messy situation we have here.
I think Prussian Prince. No, it kind of equal right now, but on a longer run, I don't know.
Panda
Here-
Warriors gets his raiding horse caught again, but only by a very depleted unit of noble horse. Still pretty bad for Panda, losing his raiding horse, with them only getting 20 and 13 kills. But the Prussian Prince's general, yep, he is.
And if we look at it, only 3 cheap units of Panda Warrior keeping 5
Yes.
units of Prussian Prince in this area.
And that is the
That's
problem with
huge.
Galatia. You don't have the elite swords that can hack through a lot of infantry quickly. And they don't have good mid-tier cav, except for the Cappadocians, and they can only bring 2 of them, I believe. So Galatia does not have the tools to deal with other barbarian sword spams at all. Like these Oathsworn, they were charged first by cavalry, but they're still winning against these Galatian legionaries.
Well, I think that's it. Prussian Prince lost his gen,
Yep,
and now mass rout is inevitable.
that's a
Yes,
GG.
it feels so.
No chance. It was a very, very strange pick by the Prussian prince because because Tylus is better in every single way than Galatia is. So I don't know if he got advice from someone to pick this faction, but it might be nerves. It might be that he was a bit nervous. I don't know. People tend to make strange picks when they are a bit nervous. Because I could see it if he went for a skirmish heavy build with his Galatian raiders and Syrian heavy archers, and then kited. It could have worked, but it's still going to be very difficult against 6 units with 95 armor and 60 health.
Were there some sort of faction bans before the game?
Yeah, they banned the Boii and Rome.
Huh. I don't know, I would expect something like maybe Arverni to work out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Arverni would be damn good against a damn good match against Tylus. Because they have good mid-tier cavalry, and holding with chosen swords and then going for rare charges could be pretty effective. That's
what
it.
is the state of Iceni right now, I wonder?
Iceni is okay, but their elite swords lose to other elite swords. They have chosen swords, so they can work fairly well. The Iceni chariots are... Some people think they suck, but I think I've seen them get like 300-400 kills sometimes, so they can work, but they are very vulnerable.
Yeah, but in this particular matchup against a lot of these tribal warriors, which are medium units, not heavy ones, could have maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, Iceni would have been much better than Galatia in every single way. Because they can match the mid-tier swords, they can bring elite swords, and more importantly, they have medium cavalry, while Tylus doesn't have any medium cavalry.
Yeah, and Panda made pretty much every unit type work, everything that he brought.
Even though he lost his raiding horsemen, that didn't matter much, because he just won with his infantry.
Yep.
So
And
now Prussian Prince picks Tylus.
And I think this riding horse, despite dying so fast, I think they played a role of putting a lot of pressure on Prussian Prince.
Absolutely.
And he really had to engage without like having proper front.
Yeah.
And no pressure, no flank pressure on Panda Warrior.
And it looked like the plan was to get cavalry charges from the front and then follow up with his legionaries, but it wasn't synchronized enough that he was able to do it on enough units to be able to win.
Yeah, and he relied on this, what it was, light swords on the flanks, protected by Levi Freeman, just to do some sort of Rio or flank charges.
But just a bad matchup for Galatia, I think, and for the Prussian Prince.
Yeah, well, Panda Warrior will show us if he have a better matchup pick for it.
Well, I have played Panda Warrior quite a lot in this patch, and I've played the Prussian Prince not as much, but we've had a few games, and I think just in terms of game time experience and understanding the current meta game, Panda Warrior is very difficult to beat. Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think he's lost a single tournament battle in patch 15 or 16.
Yeah, well, partly because a lot of people who could be of a threat, they kinda don't play at all.
Yep. And for good reason. I just started playing again a month ago, and I didn't play from something like patch 8 or 9 until 15, because there was just so much weird shit going on.
And well, this game, like, just by launching Shogun 2 and Rome 2, you can see the love that was put into multiplayer in one game and the way it was treated in another. It's just an afterthought. Not a bad game, but obviously if you want something to be
competitively, it's terrible.
Competitive, you have to work on mechanics that make people fight for something meaningful, that makes them engage, and if you know that people will engage for dodges, then you can build balance around it.
Absolutely.
But here, I guess the best fighting decision in this game would be to put pike wall in a corner. Just wait.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. You get your draw anyway.
People still do that in quick battles.
Yep.
Okay, so Prussian Prince has picked Tylus. Panda Warrior is looking at a few different builds here. And Tylus still... The nice thing about Tylus is that they can both spam Oathsworn and they can spam good mid-tier swords. So if you're up against an Oathsworn spam, but you prepare for mid-tier spam, it can be pretty difficult to face. But on the other hand, if Tylus can bring 16 swords, and if Tylus brings 16 swords and you prepare for elite swords, you're kind of fucked. They also have
so difficult to predict.
Yeah, it is. Very difficult, and especially on this map, because a lot of the counters to Tylus and their barbarian factions aren't going to work as well as they could have. So shock cavalry is going to be great against them, and chariots of course are going to be great, but on this map I don't know about it.
It seems relatively... No, wait, is it the same map?
It's the same map.
Yeah, different positions.
Yep.
Carthage.
But it's pretty strange because in the other matchups I've seen in this tournament of the Prussian Prince, his builds have been spot on. Like, they have been very good counter builds. But
well, I mean, really, how many like big players we have in this tournament?
yeah, he beat
is,
Heracles for he beat Heracles 2-0, I believe. But he beat Heracles with Rome, and Heracles picked Athens. And then I believe he beat Syracuse with Carthage. Not entirely sure about the second battle, but I know Prussian Prince played as Carthage. And that was basically sword spamming all day from the Prussian Prince.
Exactly.
And that works very well in this patch. But it can be countered, and I've seen Panda Warrior counter sword spams very nicely with pikes.
Well, pikes, but...
Pikes and skirmish, of course. And another MLG tactic that has emerged is putting your chariot behind levy pikes and then charging it out through the levy pikes and then back in, so no cavalry can really get to the chariot.
Yeah, especially now. I don't know at which patch it happened, but it feels like there were some point where you had to you were punished for spreading your units too much.
Yeah.
But with engagements becoming longer, you can spread it as much as you want.
You can, if there is no shock cavalry on the field. If there's shock cavalry on the field, even very heavy or heavy shock cavalry is going to absolutely wreck swords. Just knock down the entire unit, and then you can continue through and rear charge coming back. So shock cavalry will punish thin lines very severely.
Yeah, but not on this map, and obviously
Not on this
not with pikes, I guess. When,
Nope. No, pikes can hold fairly well, even though they are spread 2 or 3 thin. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah. And it's interesting how it's unpredictable consequence of just making fights longer.
Yeah. And some
Yeah,
people
good
really like
balance.
the longer fights, but some people really hate the longer fights because it's more noob friendly. Doesn't require
Well-
as good micro when the fights just take so much longer to wrap up.
That's one way to look at it, but if you look from another perspective, the winning side is still the same players. Like, it could be noob friendly, but it's still Prussian Prince and Panda Warrior in a final. So it didn't really help noobs, but
Yeah.
everyone else a bit what, I guess, because today, like, we played two 2v2s with Prussian Prince just for me to get a taste of a game again, and when game already decided, I still have to wait like up to 4 or 5 minutes for like, I don't know, 5 of my units grinding out last royal Spartan, and it's obvious who will win, but it still goes and goes, and there is no real development in that.
Yep.
Okay, so it's a Arverni pick for Panda Warrior.
Okay. That's a good pick against Tylus.
Oh yeah, and another thing is obviously the fact that when you make game noticeably slower, you how should I put it? You decrease like fight slower. You decrease the meaningfulness of timing.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
if in Shogun 2 flanking maneuver with light cavalry could have been crucial, now, okay, let's flank him with cavalry, let's flank, oh, he sends interceptor, yeah, sure.
Yep.
And I guess it's more interesting to play as some sort of a friendly evening game, but much less interesting as
Yeah.
as something to watch at.
And the way it basically works now is that, and it was always like this, but even more so now, that you can basically take a look at your opponent's army and be pretty sure you're going to lose that game, or be pretty sure you're going to win that game. Because no matter how well you play with your mid-tier units, and no matter how, if you're outmatched, it just doesn't matter much what you do. Like, I can't see any way the Prussian Prince could have won the previous battle unless he played an absolutely perfect game, and Panda Warrior made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but for a perfect game there is much less opportunities now.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we will see. At least I find some pleasure in watching the faction counterplay
Yeah.
to some extent.
But that's something that you will see a lot more of now. It's not as much faction countering as it's just faction matching. Like, okay, if a faction has good swords, instead of hard countering the swords, you're just going to match the swords with better swords, for example.
So in the end you just pick the single faction with best swords.
Yep, that's why the boy eye in Rome is banned very quickly, because they have the best swords. Okay, so they're both ready. We'll start the stream again.
Wait, you had stream stopped?
No, I just had a picture up so people couldn't see the builds, but they can still hear our
Yeah, I was
chattering.
scared for a second.
Yeah.
Because one thing I noticed is that the most difficult part is not casting the game, but actually keeping people entertained in between, when there were casts where we had best of 3 match,
Yeah.
which lasted maybe 3 games of 5 minutes each, and the whole recording was about 2 hours. So we were just
Yeah.
sitting there thinking about all kind of stuff.
And that's
Just because
that's
Schumann-
why I am hosting a small tournament now, and I wanted to keep the games as short as possible. So what I did was I set the factions. The players are given 2 factions, and then there's a mirror matchup. So there is no picking, counter picking. They just pick the builds. They know the factions, so they can have the builds ready in advance, and it takes about 30 minutes to finish 3 games. Whereas with the pick, counter pick, choosing builds, you can absolutely have 3 games in 3 hours.
Yeah, well, it could be if there is obviously no connection issues. Right now, it goes kind of well for me, but last times, well, it was long ago, but when I tried to stream not so, like 2 or 3 months ago, it was terrible
Yeah.
for me, because it always lagged. Okay, they're ready.
Alright. So I'll have a look at the Prussian Prince this time, and he has 4 raiding horse, good choice. He has a core consisting of 6 tribal warriors and 1 Oathsworn, backed up by 2 Celtic warriors, 2 Levy freemen, Oathsworn general, still a commander, and then we have 4 Celtic skirmishers.
Huh.
Look at
Interesting
Panda.
enough, yeah, completely ignores the start of a game. And just now tries to slowly move forward. Okay, let's take a look. So middle we have, I would assume 6 Oathsworn.
Yep.
Okay, I can see at least 5, and general, yeah, so 6 of them. Then there is Celtic warriors, 2 of them. 3 of them, sorry. Then there is 1 naked warriors. They didn't really become a thing in a game, unfortunately. I hoped to see more of these light units with huge charge potential, which is like Nodachi in Shogun 2. Then we get 2 spears, which are Levy freemen, just to be a mid shield, I guess.
Yep.
3 of them, and 2 heavy horse.
So now it looks like the Prussian prince is going to be more patient. He's going to shift all of his units to the flank, and I think we'll see a lot more skirmishing from the Prussian prince in this battle.
Yeah, obviously he has that advantage,
Yep.
and if he doesn't use it, he spent money for nothing.
Money
It's
for nothing and
interesting.
chicks for free.
It's interesting how Panda warrior manages his army actually.
Yeah.
In a scenario where there is not high enemy cavalry threat to your units, there is no actual reason to build any sort of formation.
Nope.
You just do it in a line, and it's easier for you to pick specific unit and countercharge, for example.
Absolutely. A Panda does that a lot. So raiding horse, they can't fire at the naked swords now. That's going to or naked warriors. That's going to be a nice target. But Panda's going to push him away with Levy freemen.
And I'm not sure what Prussian Prince is doing. Why is he leaving the hill? So he leaves one hill for another?
Maybe. Panda has a pretty strong position here, so maybe he just wants to keep Panda moving so he can skirmish for a longer time. If he can take out the heavy horse, he's doing a lot of damage to the heavy horse. And if he can take out the heavy horse, he can skirmish all day against the against Panda here. So the Levy freemen might get charged and might get wrecked here, but maybe he won't be able to catch them. Same here, tribal warriors against Levy freemen, but Panda is going to... They're going to get attacked in the rear, so they might... No, they're going to make it. But it looks like the Prussian prince is going to be much more cautious in this battle, just keep nipping away at Panda warrior.
But he already pushed the red line.
Yes, he did. He needs to continue moving. And if Panda rushes here, that could be pretty bad for Prussian. But
Well,
it looks like Panda likes his position on the hill, so he isn't going to rush.
Yeah, obviously, because otherwise he will be fighting uphill.
Yep. He's going to slowly move his flanks towards Prussian, but the Prussian is going to move his raiding horse up and do damage to the heavy horse. So I really like these units. The javelins have a bonus against cavalry, so they're going to kill this heavy horse very quickly.
Honestly, this, like, I have no idea what Prussian Prince is doing right now. This is absolutely stupid. It's just unnecessary, like,
Yeah.
if you're playing a skirmish game, just keep your army on one place. Because right now...
He's pushing himself
obviously-
into the corner now.
Yeah, Panda will be there faster.
Yep. And he's going to move around with some important units. Just eating fire with the Celtic warriors and the Levy freemen, so these are wasted shots by the raiding horse.
On the other hand, I actually believe that Prussian Prince could catch a
User
small
joined your
contingent
channel.
of 2 units on a side.
Yeah.
It's just he needs to stop moving his whole army at the same time.
And his guys are active now, so they might be winded if he continues to move, and that is not good for his mid-tier swords. Still chipping away at the heavy horse quite nicely here. And the heavy horse are down to 40 men, so very nice. dropping below 40. This heavy horse is going to take a lot of damage when it gets into combat.
Oh. But on another flank, Prussian Prince
Oh,
got
he
his
got his
riding
guys
horse
caught.
touched.
And is he going to charge the Oathsworn General? He is actually going to charge uphill against Oathsworn with a raiding horse. But he didn't... Well, he lost some... Yeah, he lost quite a lot of raiding horse there.
Could it be that he have no ammo left?
Maybe. That's entirely possible. So he's charging the Celtic warriors. It's going to do some damage, but not a huge amount. He killed one Oathsworn and he's just going to cycle charge back and forth with his raiding horse. So he actually killing some Oathsworn here, and maybe he did that to get his guys in range of the Celtic skirmishers, because now the Celtic skirmishers are firing at the Oathsworn.
I don't know. I don't like the way this engagement looks.
No, it looks messy for... And now he's moving... Oh, he's moving way too close to these Celtic warriors, and he's going to get flanked massively here. And heavy horse straight into his skirmishers.
Yep.
Good night, sweet prince.
No, this game is over. Like, it just... No way in hell.
So it's a best
It's
of
just,
5.
he was... Well, this whole game he was moving right, left, and in the end where he takes engagement, he wins it and he takes engagement when he doesn't really have uphill advantage. Well,
Yeah.
now he might have some, I guess.
But I wonder why he just didn't keep his army in reserve and then skirmish. Try to take
Yeah,
care of the
exactly.
cavalry, and then... basically your standard strategy when you have an advantage in cavalry. And in skirmishing. So, taking care
Well-
of Celtic warriors. Oh, the Oathsworn are taking a lot of fire from the... but he has 6 Oathsworn, so...
Yeah, it just...
Too much Oathsworn. And now naked warriors moving around the flanks. Really messy engagement here. Arverni has the melee advantage, so it's not going to go well for the Prussian prince unless he's able to do some really fancy stuff. But his general is going up against 2 Oathsworn units, and that's not going to go well for him. He's getting supported by tribal warriors, but here's the thing. These guys are very tired already. So, oh, the Oathsworn of Panda warrior are fresh, and that's going to kill the Prussian prince. Horribly bad.
Yeah.
And now his Celtic skirmishers are getting caught again. Levy freemen attacking the heavy horse. Naked warriors coming in on the flanks. Yep. Flanked by Levy freemen and naked warriors, and another unit of Levy freemen coming in. So, losing tribal warriors quickly all across the battlefield. They are exhausted. So moving the guys around like that, so devastating for the Prussian prince.
Yeah, a bit of a lack of battle plan, and he did a strange thing. He picked the same faction as Panda did last time, but instead of using it the same way, using the same strengths of a faction, he goes for skirmish heavy build.
And he doesn't really skirmish with it either. He just moves himself into the corner. Panda charges, and he has no room to get his guys out.
Yeah, 4 riders, a bit too much, I guess.
It could have worked if he used those riders to take care of the cavalry, and then just went for rear charges when everything was engaged. But he wasted them by going for frontal charges instead of rear charges. So Arverni is probably going to mop this up fairly decisively, because these Oathsworn units haven't really taken any damage. The 3 Oathsworn units over here. Yep. The general has taken some damage, but still at 60 men. The general of Prussian is going down now. And charging your guys into melee when they are very tired and exhausted. When they're exhausted, they have a 50% reduction in melee attack. So the Oathsworn of Prussian Prince have 24 melee attack when they are fighting now. That's not good.
Indeed it's not, but, well, expected from, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes before. Ago.
Yep. Chain route in.
Well, there is still one Osman, probably will not route that easily. Should probably be attacked.
General dies, exhausted. Charging downhill, but it's not really going to do much. Because even if you have the hill advantage, when you are exhausted, it's just going to nullify the advantage that you have. Especially since Panda Warriors Oathzone are only tired. So morale or fatigue is extremely important. And Panda managed his fatigue a lot better than the Prussian Prince did in this battle, and just overall, he had the stronger build, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting how fatigue as a game mechanic works. It actually makes you do less.
Yep. It should make you do less. If you don't do less, you're going to die. Even with... because Oathzone that are exhausted, they have a lower melee attack than your basic... let's see... there are no mid-tier units left. Well, Tribal Warriors have 30. So Oathzone have a lower melee attack when they are exhausted than even Tribal Warriors.
Yeah, quite decisive. Again, a heavy infantry core.
Yes. Very safe build from Panda, and a pretty strange build from the Prussian Prince, but maybe he didn't expect Oathzone spam. Which you should.
Yeah, I guess.
So GG. Yeah, just
GG.
straight up infantry. Do you remember what I said in the beginning about the meta, about 2 cavalry and all infantry? Yep,
Yeah,
that's Panda.
exactly what it is.
So this is a best of 5. If the Prussian Prince loses this next battle, it's going to go to Panda Warrior.
Okay, I will make myself a tea and be right back.
Alright.
Hello.
Hello, guy.
What's up?
Who are we speaking to?
I would be Gamer Dudester.
Hello, Gamer Dude, sir. Welcome.
How are you?
Have you seen the 2 previous battles?
No, unfortunately I missed them. Is there a stream?
Yeah, there's a stream up. We have it on. It's Twitch/Maximus D Meridius. So me and Zaript. This is the finals between the Prussian Prince and Panda Warrior.
For...
I believe it's the RIOT tournament. Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone in the
I see.
stream. Yeah.
I was under the impression that Air of Carthage would stream this or something.
Yeah, I was too up until the stream started, and I was asked to stream it because because Air of Carthage wasn't online. So maybe he messed up the time, like the GMT, since he's in America or something.
Oh, that's great that that you're there to cover it. It's a big tournament, this one.
Yeah, so we get like 10 viewers instead of 10,000, so that's really awesome.
Back.
That's unfortunate.
So Zaript is back.
Well,
Gamer
that's
Dudester joined us here.
That's just normal. The game that
I
is
might
not...
jump in.
Yeah,
Is
there
there room for a
actually
third
exactly...
caster?
Yep.
Ah, amazing.
And there is possibly last game coming in this match.
Oh, 2-0 down.
Yep.
Prince.
Yep.
The Prussian Prince, sorry to say, but he messed up badly in both
Did
games.
he use Tylus yet?
Both players have used Tylus. Panda Warrior used Arverni and Oath Spam against Tylus, and Tylus had a Tribal Warrior core, so that didn't end well. And in the first battle,
Yeah.
Panda picked Tylus, and the Prussian Prince picked Galatia.
Oh man.
That did not end well either.
No.
Well, it ended well for Panda, but
Yeah, I don't see how it could end well
yep.
for that matchup. Surprising though that that Oathsworn are being used as counters to the Tylus build these days.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised because people aren't really countering armies anymore as much as they are just matching and bringing better units. So Tylus
Yeah,
has the tribal
yeah.
warriors, then you just bring better swords. So you match the swords basically, and the same against Rome. You just match the Celtic warriors with Hastati. You match your mid tiers with chosen swords.
Yeah. What's the name of the game?
The name of the game is
1v1.
Yep, 1v1, and the password is 1.
You're supposed to have 4 friends there.
I have lots of friends. For some reason, there's lots of friends playing on my on the battle list.
Okay, the game's name is 1v1.
Okay, yeah, I'm coming.
He's
I
coming.
think I found it. Funny. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty.
Huh, I couldn't change the name of the stream. Alright. So it says it's Pokepax versus the Georgian one, but... I'll ask Panda Warrior to throw the... Oh, I got disconnected from Twitch. That's nice. I hope Panda Warrior throws the third game here, so we have more games. I'll ask him to.
Unlikely. Prussian Prince good Total War player, but Panda definitely better Rome player.
Yep.
There is no question about it. And Prussian seems to be in this state of mind where he tries stuff that should probably be tried out like before the finals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I played, it was kind of funny because when I played the Prussian Prince, he picked Pontus and I picked RDA, and I beat him 2 times in a row with the RDA against Pontus. And then I thought, I'm a pretty good player because I beat the Prussian Prince 2 times in a row. But then we changed the factions, so he picked RDA, I picked Pontus, and he beat me decisively both times. So shouldn't have let him do the switch there, because then I could have said, well, yeah, I beat the Prussian Prince 2-0, RDA against Pontus, no big deal.
Yeah, well, how should I put it? There is, I guess, strange effect of a lot of good players coming from Shogun. They just I can't force myself to Oathsworn spam, for example. Okay, I can do it in a game, second game, and then I just can't do it because it's not fun. I want something where cavalry works together with matchlocks, with spears, with nodachis, something that requires different tools to come together.
Yeah.
And when I don't have
that doesn't exist in Rome 2.
You have
Yeah,
Balearic
and-
Slingers. They are basically matchlocks.
Yeah, but like who? Honestly, I don't think I've seen a high-level competitive game in Rome 2 where anyone brings more than 3 like elite skirmishers.
Me neither.
Like for the past maybe 2 months, it's
Well,
always
that-
like 3 like heavy skirmish builds have 3 cab, 3 skirmisher rest in.
Well, that's actually completely okay, because if we think again in terms of Shogun 2, you still wouldn't bring. Well, we did see 5 matchlock builds, but it was rarity. It still would be 2 maybe, but it really depends on the way you play it out.
Yeah.
I was talking to the Prussian prince earlier, like a couple of days ago, and like asking him about new styles, trying out different ways to play factions, and he said something. He was like, the most cost-effective and easy way for you to play this game right now is to bring these huge lines with lots of swords and spears and just go forward.
Yep.
Like, there's no reason for people to try and make tools work which is really unfortunate because the game has so much variety in terms of units.
But I think that's in part because of player laziness. Because it depends on the map, of course. But if you have these huge infantry spams, and you come up against shock cavalry, elephants, chariots, and you don't have the skirmishers to deal with that, you'll just get charged into oblivion all day. Like 6 cataphracts from Parthia. Imagine what that could do to 6 Oathsworn, for example. They go
Yeah,
to
but on a tournament where there is no last second faction switching, you know there is parser coming
Yeah.
to you. And as Arverni, you just pick your spears and
Yeah, you're fine.
Well, you're not fine
You put them
against
in front.
you're not fine against Parthian swords. If you have 6 cataphracts, 6 Parthian swords, that could be pretty ugly for Arverni. But of course, depending on the map, if the map is flat.
No, I
yeah,
just
and
find
if
it,
there
find
is
it difficult
actually
as
clean way
Parthia
to charge.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, how are you gonna charge? How are you gonna get that charge space with Parthia if he has spears right next to his swords? Like, sure, your own swords are gonna try to pin some stuff down, but he can easily just run the spears back, let his swords tango with your swords. They'll survive what 50 seconds if you're lucky.
Yeah, you need to engage the spears with your swords, and then engage the swords with the
Yeah.
cataphract. So it requires more skills definitely than just clicking the flags and hope they start blinking with swords. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That seems to be the current meta game. But I have done that, and especially because I work night shifts, and when I'm done working night shifts, I just play like a complete noob, even more so than when I play normally. And then I've tried spamming swords, and I did that against Void Dragon. I had Rome, and I had like 14 or 16 swords, but I lost that game quite decisively because I just did that. I just clicked everything and hoped it went away, but it didn't. He had the buoy, he had the better swords, and I just got wrecked. But that was because of the map, because Rome will do very well on uneven terrain, but on flat terrain, Rome is going to lose horribly to barbarian sword builds.
And we have a AI that is going to be fighting on the side of Panda Warrior.
That might be the only way to make Panda Warrior lose, actually. If he puts his entire army on AI assistance, then the Prussian has a chance. But now Prussian Prince has picked Arvaci. So, very interesting, a very interesting pick by the Prussian Prince once again.
So what's good about Aravachi? And
Well,
what's
Panda
bad?
Warrior didn't pick Seleucia, he picked Carthage. The map was Seleucia, so Carthage versus Arvaci. Well, Arvaci, they have the Scutari swords, decent mid-tier swords. They have Celtiberian cavalry, that is kind of decent, pretty crappy though. They have the Balearic slingers, that they can bring as many as they want of, because they're not mercenary. So their main strength is going to be their swords. Always.
I like their noble cap too. 105 hit points.
Yeah, that's pretty
70
good.
melee defense.
But it's
They can
just
be
so
surprising
expensive.
Yeah. We will probably see 2, maybe 1.
Yeah.
But definitely, I like their medium spears too.
Yeah, they are very nice against cavalry. They can hold
they're
for
medium.
a ton of time in shield
Oh
wall.
yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
But against Carthage, I mean, the Arvaci is in no way a counter to Carthage at all.
I think Carthage is just like, if you were just to compare them, like pound for pound, Carthage is just better.
Yep, they are.
Like, I think at everything except maybe elite swords, like the top sword units. But even then,
They can still bring
Carthage has so many
two
good
of the
tools.
identical elite swords.
yeah. I love Carthage in terms of how cost effective all their medium units are. You can make like really numerous, really cost effective Carthage builds
Yeah.
that do exceptionally well against factions like Arvaci.
And you can like have a strong sword line, pikes in the center, skirmishes behind. You can basically have barbarian sword builds, but with all the benefits of having hoplites and the Hellenic units.
Yeah.
So Carthage is awesome.
Yeah, Carthage is great.
very safe pick against almost every faction out there.
Yeah,
I
a
would
lot
say
of
it
different
has-
tools.
Struggles a bit against Rome, I would say, but other than that,
Yeah.
maybe also
Who
against
doesn't?
Lusitani. But yeah, who doesn't struggle against Rome and Lusitani?
Well, the Lusitani,
User
I've seen
joined
it.
your
The
channel.
Lusitani have had a pretty big decrease in popularity. At least in tournaments, you don't see a lot of players bring the Lusitani anymore. Because people have figured out how to counter them, and it's pretty easy actually. It's just that when people try to match sword for sword, they're going to lose. But if they just know how to counter Lusitani, it's very, very easy. Shock cavalry all day, and shock cavalry, and then a charge by infantry wrecks Lusitani. Even charging with equites and then charging in is going to wreck the Lusitani.
Rob them of a charge and you won, right?
Absolutely, because their veteran shields have 30 charge bonus and only 45 armor. So if you rob them of the charge bonus, no chance.
They lose. Yeah.
So lot of MLG banter going on in the chat. It's hard to tell if people actually hate each other, but oh, Kratos asks how Panda's dick tastes or cum. Yeah, it's cum. Yeah, he asks how Panda's cum tastes because
Like sugar cane.
it has a nice hint of bamboo.
Oh boy.
But you gotta love Panda. I mean, he's been one of the players that has been consistently good in all patches of the game.
Yeah. He's just been there.
Yep. I played him in my first tournament, and I believe I made it to round 3 or 4, and then I came up against Panda, and it was just traumatizing. Like the worst defeats I've had. And that tournament didn't have any rules. So you could bring whatever you wanted. Having Panda bring whatever he wants, it's going to be a bad time for everyone. All cavalry. He went Seleucid, all cavalry, elephant, just everything died.
Yeah. He just knows the game so well, I feel.
Yep,
He knows
knows.
the mechanics, he knows the units.
The only times I'm able to
Has-
beat, like I was able to beat Panda when the new factions came out because he hadn't had a chance to practice with the new factions. But then it takes like 2 or 3 games, and then he knows the factions, and then it's just almost hopeless.
You
Well,
know,
here we go.
there is once again a strange thought come to my mind. I'm looking at the map again, zooming out and into trees, and I'm asking myself, if sun is not moving, what problem it is to just calculate shadows one freaking time
Yeah,
for trees. I mean, once.
that's that's something. That's something I would never have thought about.
Battles with the graphics. Oh my god.
No, but
dude, Zaript.
it just look at the hill near the Panda warrior elephants. You zoom in, zoom out, shadows disappear, appear, disappear, and it cuts my eye.
They don't disappear for me.
Shadows are OP.
They just
They don't
battle
disappear for me,
them are
actually.
Terrible. They go from like pretty high detail to literally 5 pixels.
Yep.
For me, some of them disappear, like half of them.
I do not like this matchup for the Prussian prince.
It
Once
I guess
It's
we could talk a little
orthogonal
bit more
lacking.
about.
Okay, so
I
they.
guess we could talk a little bit about the armies once the game. Oh, it's
Yeah,
it's
it
just
started.
Wow.
Okay, I'll do Panda's Carthage here. He has Carthaginian cavalry, 2 of those on the flanks, 2 Carthaginian cavalry in the center, a mixed sword line of mercenary noble fighters, Gallic warriors, Libyan infantry, mercenary Scutari, just your standard Carthaginian sword spam basically. Libyan hoplites on the flanks, not even late Libyan hoplites, 1 late and 1 normal. Then he has 1 mercenary Cretan archer and a general's bodyguard.
That's pretty iconic of Panda Warrior as a player when you look at that kind of army.
Yep. And who
Yeah.
wants to go over Prussian Prince army? That's going to get wrecked.
Panda warrior. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, it does look extremely fragile.
So for spears,
just-
we have 2 Iberian spears on each flank, so 4 in total. I believe we have 6 Scutari, we have 5 Celtiberian cavalry, noble fighter general, another noble fighter, and 2 Balearic slingers. So skirmishing advantage to the Prussian prince. Everything else advantage to, well, not cavalry advantage, but sword advantage goes
the
to...
Prussian prince has a small cavalry advantage. It's not too big.
No, the
think he
Celtiberian
has
cavalry is
more
going to
units.
take a lot of casualties if it's matched up against
Yeah.
the...
Yeah, totally. It's gonna be like 1-for-1 trades, and I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna have enough cav. Even if like if they just fight, he won't have enough cav to do much damage to a sword unit, even if it's in combat.
Yep.
Plus, the Celtiberian cavalry don't have the best of charges either. Like they're not gonna come and do a huge hammer and anvil that kills 20 men. They're not that guy.
And then we have the African elephants hiding on top of the hill. Panda warrior is moving off the hill, but
man.
leaving his elephants there, and this is going to open up the flank of the Prussian prince for these African elephants.
Wow.
Actually,
And they have
I'm
905 hit
interested.
points now, so they are better.
There were some point in a game when elephants were visible all the time.
Yeah.
If I
They are
remember
not
correctly.
visible. They are visible in the forest, but they are not visible behind a hill.
Yep. Line of sight applies to them in terms of physical terrain,
Ah,
but
okay.
they can't hide in the forest.
And these Iberian spears, if they get their javelins off, they might make the elephants, or they will make the elephants run amok, but they're not going to kill them in melee. The elephants are going to run all over them.
I
So it
think
looks
it's
like
looking
Panda
really
is going to
hard.
move around the hill completely and just leave his elephants there.
Yeah, it's looking really hard for the Prussian prince, I think.
Yeah.
I think his best bet is to actually match the movements of Panda, but like, look, Panda's moving alongside, sort of, not really alongside, but his left flank and his back lines are basically covered by the red line.
Yeah.
So like, he's gonna be really hard to turn.
I would have really liked seeing some Cantabrian cavalry with their 41 missile damage for Aravachi, because that would allow the Prussian prince to counter the elephants anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
But he
I
can't
agree.
counter them anywhere now.
Yeah, the elephants are gonna come down from that hill. They're gonna get a huge bonus if the fight happens somewhere around here.
Yeah.
But it's not looking like it. Like I don't know. Maybe this is reading too much into it. But do you think that Panda Warrior is kind of trying his best to have the Prussian Prince move down here to kind of keep some kind of hill advantage when he takes the fight, so that his elephants are gonna get some nice and juicy charges?
Well, obviously he wants Prussian Prince to expose his flank.
I think
and,
he's going to
engage
wait
his
until
cav.
the engagement happens somewhere around here, and then he's going to move his elephants into the rear like this.
Pretty big distance though. That
Yeah, it is. But
But
he has
still,
the
Prince
numbers
has
to
nothing to
engage
break
his
him
entire
past,
army.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he can
moving.
pin down every single unit.
Yeah,
Oh, see, it's happening. The Prussian
Uh-oh.
Prince is gonna move around and try to use that hill for a better position. And now Panda's just gonna come forward and oh my god.
Maybe he's going to scout actually. If he's going
If
to
he
scout,
scouts
that could
that
be
elephant-
massively important. Yep.
Oh my god.
He's going to see the elephants. Nice, Prussian.
Funny part is that it will not really change.
Oh, run away! Run away! The elephants are coming! Hit J, Prussian Prince! Turn around! Come! Oh,
Oh god. Oh.
shit! He didn't see the elephants. Maybe he wanted to tie down the elephants and then bring in his spears. It looks like that's the plan. Now we're going to have a massive blob around the elephants. The elephants
This is
took
not
down
good for him.
a lot of Celtiberian cavalry. The Celtiberian cavalry is going to get rear charged. GG.
Yeah, it's over.
GG. So here we'll see the
It's all
Iberian
like-
spears die to Carthaginian cavalry on the charge. And Celtiberian cavalry going down. The elephants are massacring those units.
I mean, don't forget, like the Iberian spearmen. Even though they're spearmen, they're not meant for this kind of thing.
Yep.
Like,
They're just medium spearmen. They need to rush in against engaged cavalry, not against cavalry that is moving.
yeah, they have 30 base morale. They can't just take a charge without anything on their flank and support and survive. But
They are broken.
if Panda Warrior gets that hill over there on the left, it's gonna be really hard for Prince to really do anything.
Yeah.
And if you look at that elephant, like it has 9 elephants remaining.
I don't
It's
know.
all like
I don't know how much damage he was actually able to do to the elephants here, but it was not worth it, Al.
No,
Lost
he
his
so
Iberian
many-
spears.
Yeah.
And the Iberian spears lost against Carthaginian cavalry, and they will do that. Noble fighters under fire. Prussian prince not getting kills on his Balearic slingers yet.
And like the tough thing for the Prussian prince is that he doesn't have the army to kind of engage
Nope.
Panda Warrior. Like Panda Warrior has more swords and he has a wider line. Like look at this.
Yep.
This is the prince and Panda Warrior is like probably like 20% larger than his line.
And he has a huge flank of cavalry and elephants coming in.
Yeah, this is really big now. I think the Prussian prince needs to just keep going back up his own hill
Yeah.
and maybe try to shift to the right a little bit.
But still losing another unit of Iberian spears there. Or it's going to stabilize if it doesn't get rear charged again. So another unit of Celtiberian cavalry going bye-bye.
Here come the elephants down.
He's
They're gonna
he's
hit
going to
those,
charge Carthaginian cavalry and elephants. Maybe to try to keep the Iberian spears in the fight a bit longer.
Oh, and look at this. The Celtiberian cavalry at the front are gonna get charged by 2, oh my god.
Good night.
He's gonna...
yeah.
Oh, he gets out just in time. Only 4 men lost. That's actually,
10.
pretty surprising.
He's going to lose 10.
But it's
think.
clear once again that Prussian prince just doesn't know how to rebuild the game. He started with disadvantage and
Okay,
if
now
you
I
look
think
at
now
his
he has an
Balearic
opening.
slingers,
He has an opening. Like, he needs to go there. He has to do something. Like, if he
Yep.
just plays
no,
defensively...
of course no, because
there's nothing
instantly-
else.
No,
If he just keeps... Look, he's peeling units one at a time right now. They're just gonna get swallowed whole and routed.
Charges
but-
downhill all day for Panda.
Yeah, like,
but
he needs to go
charging
right.
the- But that will kill him anyway.
I think most of the things that he can do at this point in the game will have him end up dead.
Yep.
But
Yeah, he basically lost at the army selection, and losing his cavalry just made it worse. So we have might have a desync here.
Yeah.
Ah, no, it started again. Noble fighters are going to get downhill charged by mercenary Skitari. The elephants have lost 1 elephant, so that's something at least.
yeah, Panda's moving up the hill now through the forest. He doesn't really care.
He has the numbers to not care, and this is going so well for Panda that I can't really see what the Prussian prince can do in this scenario.
If he somehow manages to win the other flank, I mean, he has some hope. Those 2 units of Balearics, they should be targeting. They should be targeting sword units right now.
Yep.
On the right on the right side.
They
He
should
needs
be
to
up
weaken
here.
one flank. Yeah, totally. They shouldn't be there because look, now the cav is just gonna come up and kill
Yep.
them. But there's the nice rocks over here. They kind of prevent the cav from being able to just slip through.
Now he's moving his cav back to protect that flank, so that's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, one of his Iberian spearmen is gonna get pulled out of position completely.
Charging the
back line
general
of
of Panda, but Celtiberian cavalry is just so crappy, and there's elephant support, so...
Well, in fact, in
Oh,
this
look, he's
area,
targeting the
Panda
elephant now.
may lose
Okay.
some units
Come on.
to spread up.
This is turning pretty well, I think, for the Prussian prince.
Yeah, he's made some nice moves
Again.
lately, killing elephants. They're not running amok yet. So...
He needs to help his right flank. Like he needs his right flank to start caving in and doing damage there. He's doing it
yeah,
now.
he's going to win here. He's going to win here,
Yeah,
and
he needs that. If he wins
Pull-
that flank, I think he has a chance.
pulling up the hill here was a massively good move by the Prussian prince. And now he can support everywhere with his Balearic slingers. He's wisely keeping his
Libyan
general out of the
infantry,
fight.
The Libyan infantry on the left are gonna get some nice charges, and those 2 units of Cultiberians are gonna probably bite the dust.
Yep.
Yeah, and in the end, all Libyan infantry just did what heavy infantry is supposed to do. They held. Even if it's uphill, like this one.
Noble fighters too close to the elephants here. They can get flanked by the elephants. Going to charge in.
Definitely, I think the Prussian prince should be targeting the elephants now with his slingers. That one, his general though, is getting like gangbanged by 3 units. But look, one of his Cultiberians comes back and he's using it to slow the elephant down. Oh no, but it gets through!
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. GG.
Oh, that's huge.
GG.
Oh my gosh.
And look at this square formation, Libyan hoplites marching through.
Oh, the Carthaginian cavalry is going to probably break, but it has his general in there as well.
Look, he has a Libyan hoplite now
yeah.
that's gonna get into the
Rear
Balearics.
charge.
This is over. Oh, this is over.
Well played by Panda Warrior. If he had just
I must
kept
say
his
though,
his slingers up here, that could have enabled them to take out these units while they were coming up the hill.
Yeah, I think he moved them around a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reason for him to bring his general all the way down here. He could have just parked up his general.
And now he's getting fired upon in the rear by Cretan archers.
Yeah, it looked good for a minute there for the Prussian prince, but
everything depended on those slingers, basically. Because now there's nothing left to oppose the elephants. He's getting rear charged all day from all directions.
he's still trying to salvage whatever he has left. He's gonna send this 1 unit of Scutari to try and kill the general. But notice how, like, the general of a Panda Warrior, he's been fighting. Like, he has 95 kills.
Yep. Those Iberian spears are... Well, it's GG. GG, well played. And people say that elephants are useless. I would say they are decidedly not.
209 kills
of course
there, that's
they're
pretty
not.
good.
It just doesn't seem that they are as useful as they were when you take 1 unit of, I don't know, armored Indian elephants and you don't need anything else.
But look at the kills
they're
here.
useful in a different way.
Panda Warriors, 1 mercenary Cretan archer, got more kills than the 2 Balearic slingers. And the cavalry of the Prussian prince didn't do anything. Like, just over 100 kills for 5 cavalry units.
I think it was a mistake by the Prussian prince to actually attack the elephant. He saw the elephant and we saw him attack commanding the elephant. I think he expected to do more damage to the elephant with his cav, but he should have just ran back. Imagine if that fight had taken place and he had like 3 units of cav on that hill that he could dispatch anywhere he wanted. I think he would have been in a really, really good position. He might have easily won that. He definitely had the positional advantage towards the middle there.
Yep. So they say that Panda pulled through, but charging cavalry in, knocking guys down, and then moving on, not really pulled through.
Well, I don't think pull through actually works in Rome 2 as it works in Shogun 2.
No, it was a charge through, and charging through is completely fine. So Panda Warrior asked if we could cast some more tournament games with him, and I would be more than happy to.
Yeah. There is as usual interesting thing in the chat. Memcan says accept game mechanics. Well, accepting some of the game mechanic will actually completely kill any chance for playing this game competitively.
Yeah.
So that would be quite stupid to do.
So this is going to be a battle between VOD, Victory or Death, Hassaslaga, and I haven't seen that player before. This is going to be a battle for the 3rd place in another tournament. And Danko is saying that Panda Warrior pulled through. I do not agree with that in the slightest.
I think it was a pull through actually, because like, you can't.
Well, it did, but I mean, if you're pulling through to get to enemy, the problem with pull through initially and overall was the fact that in Shogun 2, all you had to bring is only cavalry. You bring cavalry and you kill everything, like spears, naginata, swords, by just pulling through. So obviously that's a problem. But here when I don't see you getting such an advantage from pulling through, so I'm not sure. It could be a problem, but it's definitely not tested to such an extent.
No.
And
I think on one hand he did kind of pull through, but on the other hand it was a 3v1. Like there were 3 units from Panda Warrior fighting 1 unit from the Prussian Prince, and you'd expect like in that situation that yeah, 1 unit can make it through that line and continue forward. So
the thing is, if the cavalry charges, even Carthaginian cavalry charges a unit that is engaged and that is depleted, a lot of those guys are going to be knocked down. And I don't think you have the knockdown mechanic in Shogun 2 as pronounced as you do in Rome 1. Like it wouldn't take as long for guys to get up if was there that mechanic at all in Shogun 2?
User joined
Hello.
your channel.
Hello, Prussian
hello,
Prince.
hello.
Well, what do you think of those series of battles?
Well, I think that I don't know. I think I don't know enough about the game, and I thought my cavalry would destroy those elephants, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I charged downhill. I thought heavy cav was the counter to elephants.
Oh, the Celtiberian cavalry. Well, the counter to elephants is basically javelins and missiles. You can't really charge elephants anymore, especially not Celtiberian cavalry, because you can't charge to stop the elephants like you did. But the problem is that the Iberian spears are just so crappy at taking care of enemy cavalry that is charging that they just if those were Scutari spears, that could have worked actually.
yeah, man, we thought you almost had that game though. At one point, your slingers were like in such a good position, but you kept moving them forward and backward and forward and backward.
Because they were not shooting.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like,
I clicked the attacker and they just moved.
unfortunately, I missed the first 2 games, but
And it was a bit more one-sided.
Yeah. And that's weird because I thought that in every game I had superior positioning. That's what's weird about
But no. Like in all games, you broke the main rule: have heavy infantry and move it.
You just didn't spam hard
And you
enough.
didn't get it. Yeah.
But I think when you picked Tylus, you could have made something work if you had managed to kill all of his heavy horse, and then been able to skirmish and go for rear charges with the when the engagement started. But the problem was that when you started engaging, your guys were either very tired or exhausted, and that just allowed his oath
User
spam
joined your
to
channel.
kill the tribal warriors and the oath sword too quickly. But still, I mean, against Panda Warrior, you're going to have the perfect build, and you're going to have to play a perfect game every time.
I have to go for a bit. I may come back at some point. So
Alright.
see you guys in a bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
Prince,
so
you
we
don't
have
play
another
tournament today?
What?
You don't play tournament today?
he just
I
finished.
played and I fished.
He beat Panda Warrior 3-0. That's going to be the official, the official story here.
Beta,